Um, so what's up, man? How you been?
I've been actually really good, man. I mean, my last 4.5 months of sobriety here have been really, really good to me. I mean, it's
Really?
doing me really well. Yeah.
You said 4 months?
Yeah, 4.5 now, man.
Oh my God, dude. That's amazing, dude. I'm around 2 months right now.
And it's I find it
Isn't?
wild because I haven't really had a craving or an urge to drink at all.
My God. Tell me about it. It's
So
it's
it's I
it's
I
intense,
I
man.
think what had happened, man, is that I genuinely got scared straight, right? So that the incident that I had gone through,
Yeah,
it
dude.
starts with
Let's break it down, man. What tell the whole story like beginning, middle, end.
all right, gotcha, brother. So it started back around Christmas time. I was with this girl. She always kept me drinking, which was kind of shitty. She knew my addictions and my struggles, and she like kept feeding me booze. Well, on Christmas, she bought me a fucking fifth of Jack Daniels for Christmas. And I'm at her house. I'm with my sister and my daughter's there and shit. And I'm like, dude, look, this girl like really did this. And that addict in me kicked in, man. So I drank the whole fucking thing. We had a meltdown, and it kind of progressed more from there. And it came to like mid-March, man. I was just, I felt like I couldn't break the cycle. I was really, really bad. I was down and out. And I'm like,
Yep.
fuck, I don't want to live anymore. So I figured the only way, to take care of that is go out by the vice that takes me. So I got off of work. I bought a fucking box of wine. And I'm gonna drink that box of wine. And I bought two little pints of Jose Cuervo, drank them. And I was tipsy enough. I'm like, fuck it, we're gonna go for it. So I started buying sleeves of 99 shots. And I about 40 of them, I got to 36. And like it was Sunday morning and I'm laying there and I'm shaking, man. It's like, it's hot in my apartment and I'm just shaking, shaking, shaking. My buddy comes over and he talks me into going to the hospital. So I go to the hospital and I get there and like, it's like they're like feeding me and they give me like Ativan and shit. And like everything seemed okay. I go to leave and they chase me out. They pull me back in. They're like, we got your test results back. You need to come back in here with us. And that's like instantly everything bad started happening. I start puking everywhere.
God.
I'm fucking like puking on these ladies. I'm like, oh, like running down the hallway, just projectile vomiting, projectile vomiting. And it's like they get me in the bed. They're like, we gotta admit you to ICU. And I'm like, oh fuck, so like, don't be scared, don't be scared. It's just a procedure. And I'm like, okay, and like last, like I remember him slapping seizure guards on the bed next to me. I like look down, I could like see my feet. I'm like, fuck, this is getting really real, and my body just, I'm like going in and out of it. And I remember this nurse, man, I look over at her, she says, baby, you're about to get the good stuff. And she like shoots something into my fucking arm, man. And she's like, "You'll be okay. You'll be okay." And I go out of it. I go out of it, and I come back. I don't really know the day, but I come back, and I'm like, standing there, and they're doing my vitals, and I swear, man, I could see my dead dad standing in the corner of that hospital room. It really fucked me up. And I remember telling the lady, I'm like, "Well, I see my dad." She's like, "Well, that's common." I said, "Well, he's been dead for 4 years." And then I kind of faded back out. I came back to it, and they're like wheeling me out into the regular hospital stay, and I don't really remember much of that either. I remember waking up in detox, and I get up in detox, man, and I kind of collected myself, and I had these vast epiphanies of like what I was doing, not to myself, but to my child, right? It's like, my father's passed away. I run from that. That hurts me. It's grief, right? Fed my addiction. And I
Yeah.
started realizing a different thought process of how close I came to passing that on to my child. And it's like throughout my years of addiction, I never really thought of that, right? Very selfish. I'm like, well, fuck, and it hit me really hard. And I went to church, like I said, told you earlier, I'd gone to church that Sunday, and it was a very emotional experience, man. Like I'm shaking, I'm crying, I got goosebumps. It was like, like I was meant to be there. And through the strength of God, I kind of started to prevail a little more. And I started putting things in his hands. And I kind of, started to realize that, like when I was in the classes with the chaplain, that I was in a state of spiritual warfare. It's like the
Yeah.
little, you know,
Yeah, dude.
that's that, and that came out of nowhere too. It's like, like I kind of started to think too deeply, a little deeply about the situation. I'm like, well, why did I see my dad? Am I that fucked up that I was hallucinating that? Or was he
That's
there
what I was
to,
gonna that's what I was gonna ask, dude. Like, all right, I've had similar situations and I'm gonna ask, do you think that that's real? Like, do you think your dad was actually there and looking at you and was with you in the hospital? Like, or do you think you were so out of it and you were just hallucinating? Or do you think it was like actually real, like spiritual, like actually in the room?
I think it was a spiritual thing, Nick. I've debated the reasons of why of that. My first reason was he was there to scare me straight, right? To okay, get it together, Scott. But then it's like as I thought more into it, I'm like, okay, well, he's either here to take me home, or he's here to protect me from what was getting ready to take me. So that
Yeah,
kind of always stuck with me rather deeply. Because I can, I never really got the full meaning of it. But it's like I didn't see him as like a person. I could see his shadow. He always wore his leather jacket and his cowboy hat and his cowboy boots, and I could see that. It was like black, and I could see it. And that really played a trigger on me for a while there. And it's I think that my personal opinion is I think that day he was there to protect me from whatever evil had set its course on me. Because it's like they say, brother, the devil he dwells in misery and chaos, and I was really not a happy individual. And like I
absolutely,
at
dude.
that point, like I was reading through my hospital paperwork a few weeks ago, and they literally said that I told them I don't want to breathe anymore. Like I have no desire to breathe anymore at all. And it's like fuck, like that. I got a
It's
9-year-old
spiritual
child.
warfare, man. It's spiritual
You know,
warfare. It's 100% true. God is real, and the devil is real too. Um,
yeah.
that's the thing, man. When you take that many shots and drink that much alcohol, that's the devil working in
Yeah,
his
that's
ways. And I think
that's
maybe your dad was there to, like you said, scare you straight and let you know, like, man, like this is the afterlife. Like, if you continue on this path, you're gonna end up in the afterlife sooner than you should, you know?
yeah. And that's like, like I feel like I was given a second chance, by God, and it's like I started, I pray every day now, man. I wake up and I pray. And it's not really, like prayer for, oh, it's thanks for giving me the second opportunity, but it's prayer for protection. Because it's like, my door is closed, right? And I barricade that motherfucker. But what's on the other side of it is not a good thing. And it doesn't knock either, but there's not a little knock, oh, hey, let me in. It bangs at that fucking door.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, dude. That's awesome, dude. That you went to church and that was the first thing that you thought of because I truly believe God is that's the answer to everything. Like that's it. That's that's like it's so hard to put into words, but there's nothing even that comes close to God and you know, because that's just for eternity. That's
Yeah,
eternity right there.
it's a really great sense of peace too. And it's like ever since then, since I've been going to church and I've been praying, my life has just fell into place. It's like all these things that I've always wanted, right? That I couldn't, for some reason I couldn't find or have, they just started falling to me. They just started coming together for me. And I'm like, holy shit, it's like truly a miracle. It's like, okay, Scott, you're doing the right things now. So this is this. Like I met this girl, we've been talking for like 4 months, we're dating now. And she's really supportive of my sobriety, and it's like
That's awesome.
truly a beautiful person. It's like, like we've came to the agreement that if I did slip back to that old way, we can no longer be. So it's like I found love, a love that I've never, expected to find. I gave up on fucking love, and I
Oh my
and I
God, dude. That's
and I found that,
dude,
and she's
you
a
gotta
very
have
supportive
people that
person.
love you.
And then I got like my relationship with my daughter. It's we had a heart to heart the other night, and we talked very deeply about what I was going through and how I felt and things I went through as a child. And it got her to understand and see, why, okay, this is why my father was this way. It was a very, very big awakening for me. Like there was like, unfortunate to say, but there was things that happened to me as a child that I never admitted that when that after this awakening, I was more open to admit. I was like, well, hey, this is what happened to me, and that it kind of felt like a very big burden had been lifted off of my chest. And, it's like
Wow.
I told my sister and my daughter's mother, and they're kind of like, well, Scott, we kind of figured something like that happened to you. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah. Dude,
that's,
that's like life changing right there, like near death experience like that. It's very life changing. Like it snaps you back into like reality, like, oh my God, like this is actually what could happen. Like I could really leave this earth if I just continue like to fucking do this, be on this path. It's scary and it scares you straight. And honestly, it sucks that we have to get to that point to for that have to happen. Um, but sometimes you gotta hit that and have it happen to you to actually like realize, holy shit, like I don't want this, dude. I wanna be good, you know? And you
Yeah,
just get I get on my hands and knees and pray to God, you know, like please, because I'm like restless and super irritable and like very out of it. And just God, please, like I'll do whatever. Just please get me out of this, you know, like one last time. And it's it's scary stuff, dude.
it's
Very
very
scary
scary,
stuff.
Nick. And it's like I have came to the conclusion that it's like I think what keeps me in line really is not, it's also God, but it's also the fact that in my eyes, one drink and I'm over with. If it came
Oh,
that close this time, what would happen again? So to me, that's not an option. And I feel like it's a game of Russian roulette, man. And it's like
yeah,
I don't want to fucking, I don't want to put that to my head because who knows, this time might be the one where, that's it. And it's not, it's like I do a lot of this is for myself. It's also for my child, man. I don't want her to feel the pain that I feel. I don't want to, what pursues me to pursue her, right? So it's like if I stay alive and thriving, I'm able to stop it from coming through the door. And that was a big, big, big wake up for me, brother, was the fact that it's like I never thought of it that way, right? I never thought of, okay, if this happens, how does this affect my child? And it's like it
yeah,
really hurt me to realize that I came so close to the pain that I run from giving to my daughter, that I care
absolutely,
I
dude.
love so deeply, that I was just
Oh
about
my
to
God,
restart the
dude.
cycle,
Yeah,
you
like
know?
a dog, like a girl and her dad. There's nothing comparable to like how close and how needed that relationship is, dude. And like you're a good, solid dude. Like it's it's not even worth a drink, even if it can get you to that point. You got to be there for yourself, but most of all, you got to be there for your daughter too. And show her like who you really are, dude. Because when you're sober and clean, you're
Yeah,
awesome,
it's
dude. You're
it's
awesome.
it's beautiful, man. It's like I've had my share of battles, with like tomorrow's my dad's 4-year death anniversary, right? That's a really big mental battle, and it's I picture it. It's like a cage fight, man. Like I'm in there and I'm getting the fuck beat out of me, but I keep getting stood back up, and I can't give
Oh
up.
yeah,
I got to go till the last bell rings, and I don't
absolutely,
ever
dude.
underestimate the opponent that I'm standing across because it's a fucking monster,
It's a fucking monster, dude, and it
and it's
fucking
different
chases
dealing
you
with
everywhere you
dudes.
go, dude. What was it once
It's
saying? It's the devil's waiting in the parking lot doing push-ups or something like that. So
Yeah.
true, dude. So true. I've been on a battle like I don't even know too many rounds to count where I just get back up. I get back up and it's like, dude, this sucks. Like going from having some like things going for me, social, financial, all that job, and then you lose it and you go back to step one and then you repeat the process. It's fucking insanity. Legit insanity, you
Yeah,
know?
you gotta be very resilient, and it's like plus two, Nick, I came to the conclusion I don't want to die, man. Like when you get that close to death and it's very traumatizing. Like, dude, I had a permanent anxiety attack for like 2 weeks. I was constantly just having panic attacks. I'm like, fuck, did this really happen to me? This really
Oh my
happened?
God.
It's
Dude,
it, it
so
really
true.
did. It's like I was
And
standing in the shower just one day. I'm just standing in there and I'm like, fuck, man, you almost died, dude. Like this almost killed you. What the fuck, Scott? Like, what are you doing, man? Like it was bad. Just
what else did you see like when you had the near-death experience?
it
Was
was
it
it
just your
was
dad?
mostly just it was just my dad and mostly just black, man. It was just like everything just shut off. It was just
Were
like
you
there was just like
feeling like a certain type of way? Like like shock or like you're tingling, your body was tingling and you like
yeah, I was like it was like I felt like really like my feet were, and that's what like I kept remembering from like like Tombstone the movie where Doc Holliday dies and he talks about, oh, this feels funny because my feet kept tingling, man, and I'm like, fuck, this is not good. I'm like laying there and I keep like trying to look down at my feet and I'm like, man, this is not, my it's like you could feel like my heart rate's slowing. It was fucking bad, man. It's like I could feel my body shutting down. It's like I couldn't, like it was just horrible. It was really a life-changing experience. And it's like it's horrible to say that I run with that traumatic experience, but that's what keeps me from
oh my
slipping back.
God. It's crazy how
You
it
know,
works. That's what keeps you in check. Like, holy shit. Me myself, I had so many similar situations to the one that you described where it's like near death. I OD'd over 10 times, like in like some very, very bad ones too. Some very, very bad ones. Um, I could say one of them. And I've had more than 10 like incidents like that. I could say one. So I was partying all weekend and I was doing bad, like the bad stuff, the bad drugs, and I was out of it all weekend and my dad didn't know what to do, so he walked me to the car and then I went out. I OD'd right in the car and he was freaking the fuck out in the car and he it was on a busy street by my house, 111th, pulled up the car, picked me up, ran into a firehouse, all the fucking firemen. I woke up like this with a Narcan needle in me, and everyone's looking at me, 12 firemen, like, like eyes just like they were so shocked to see me come back to life. And they said I was blue, I was like seconds away. And holy fuck, man. Talk about traumatizing. It was fucking
It's traumatizing things, brother. And it's actually, us as addicts, recovering addicts, man. It's like at times we underestimate the strength of that addiction, right? It's like it really will. We will push it to the fucking limit, and then it's
hmm
not just pushing it to the limit for that high too. It's also the despair that comes with that. It's like
yes.
when you feel like you're getting nowhere, when you feel like you're trapped, when you feel like there's no exit, your mind instantly goes to, okay, how do I get the fuck out?
So
You
fucking
know?
true. Honestly, that's such a good point, dude. Like, because that's something I struggle with very, very much is I'll be a month or two sober and I get into, the swing of things and then it's just like I kind of feel like I'm just on my own and I get really bored and I'm like I don't have too much going for me and my mind just goes back to, getting fucked up because I know I'll feel better for like
Yep.
get that one little glimpse of feeling good, but it just I end up in the streets days later, with looking like
Yep.
a
And then
homeless
you're
person.
back to square one, brother. And that's usually that's where it ends back up at. And it's like, I've noticed too, it's like being sober, it's like the emotion is what triggers, like for me, that's what my trigger is. It's emotion. It's
Yeah,
like, and I've even noticed, like even with my little bit of clean time right now, that it's like, like this week, Monday was my mom's birthday. She's deceased. Tomorrow's my dad's 4-year death anniversary. I've noticed habits where it's like I push people away, right, to isolate. Like I'll be mean, I'll be like, I'll fucking hurt people's feelings and I'll do anything I can to get you the fuck away from me because when I explode, I don't want no collateral damage. I don't want to voice a reason, and I've caught myself doing that a lot this week, and I'm like, okay, Scott, that's old behavior. We can't do that, and that's just that it's like years of addiction doesn't get unlearned so quickly,
oh my God. It's
it
yeah,
takes
dude.
it takes a
Years and
lot of
years,
time and
years and years of that shit. And that's the thing too, like when you're alone and you like start doing like you're just alone a lot, watching movies or working out by yourself, it's kind of peaceful in a scary way because you're just so used to it and you're at peace with it that when other people like, try calling your phone or, you know, doing whatever, it's like you got to snap out of it. It's good every once in a while to sit and think by yourself, but being by yourself too much is dangerous. At least for me, I don't know, I can't speak for everyone, but it's dangerous.
yeah, it is dangerous. It is dangerous. That isolation, man, see, I've noticed that too. It's like that isolation is the killer, right? Because it's like you could take somebody with years of sobriety, just the wrong time and the right amount of isolation, and they're, okay, I'm thinking too much. How do I get out of my own head? Well, the only way I know how to get out of my head, or how do I not feel, or how do I, pass some time, using substances. And then that's when that cycle restarts. It's like
I
I've spent a lot of time in, isolated these last couple months because I, work second shift and we work till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And,
yeah.
it's like I see my girlfriend on the weekends, I see my daughter every other weekend. So it's like I kind of battle with that, and at times your mind is your own worst enemy, brother.
Oh,
You
it
just got to
really is,
find a way
dude.
to unlock that cell door and step the fuck out of it.
100%. And I've been in the same situation where it's like you work all day and then you come home and you just watch Netflix and just go to sleep and eat and go to sleep. And it's that in itself. is, I mean, you're making money, you know, and all that, but that in itself too, you got to have a social life in there. You know what I mean? You got to
Yeah.
go out and have some fun, you know, like
Yep. Got to
I
go
went
to
to
the
the Sox
gym. You got
game.
to,
Yeah.
try to
Yeah,
do
you got
like
to have
things
some
like I
fun,
was
dude. You got to have some fun, you know?
churches, the gym, brother, like extracurricular activities, like just anything, and that's one thing I kind of realize like right now that I am somewhat blessed with, like, my daughter, even though she's 9, she's a good support system. My girlfriend, a really good support system. I got one of my good friends, he's got autism, he's a really beautiful fucking human being. And he's a really good support system to me too. Like there's times where, like on Father's Day, Mother's Day, I'm going through it, and he'll come and he'll just sit here, and he'll just keep his eye on me, because he knows I'm fucking irate and I'm ranting and I'm going, and I'm bouncing back and forth between crying and being pissed and fucking, like I'm
Yep.
dealing with all these emotions on a sober level that I'm so
Hmm.
used to numbing the fuck out, you
Oh,
know?
that's just a given. Yeah, your emotions all come back up and it works itself out in different ways, you know what I mean? It's it's really something you gotta like you gotta have a great support system, like you said, that will give you, you know, ideas and it'll help you in situations where your emotions come up. That way you could talk to someone. That's what I figured, like talking to someone about what you're going through is huge. You know, I'm a big believer in therapy, especially when you're in recovery. Because, you know, even talking to you and talking to friends and talking to therapists, it's really good, at least for in my opinion, that you release it all, dude. You get it out. You get it out into the universe, you know?
Yep, get it out of your mind, brother. That's like, like now it's like, like I always had a hard time with showing vulnerability. I never
Oh yeah.
wanted to talk about anything. I always kept everything locked in. And, it's like now lately, I open up to, my female companion quite a bit. She allows me to show her that vulnerability. So I think that's a rather good thing for me. And my daughter, even though she doesn't understand, she'll just listen, she'll just listen. And that's a beautiful thing too. It's, my biggest thing with that is like I always wanted her to understand that I'm not this way by choice, right? It's like I don't choose to be like this. I don't choose to be this fucking person. It's that
Exactly, dude.
it's years of pain and years of torment that have like
Exactly. You
made me that
never
way.
really know what someone's gone through in their life, you know, either their upbringing or situations that they've been in, you know, like you don't really know what someone's going through at the end of the day. You know,
Oh,
that's
you
why I
don't,
don't
brother.
really judge anyone, even when I'm walking down the street or in the rooms of AA or whatever. I don't really judge because people have been through some, me and you have been through some fucking wicked shit, you know?
Yeah, we have, brother. We have. And it's like, it's like that we're still young enough that, it's like it can be reversed, right? The scars, they're gonna be left on your body, but that wound will close. And sadly,
Absolutely.
it's like what I've understood from like with me with self-medicating with substances, I'm just putting a band-aid over that wound. That wound's still there. That motherfucker's still bleeding. I'm just stopping the bleeding and covering it. I'm not really
Exactly.
truly healing from it until I feel it. So it's like
Exactly,
these
dude.
last couple months of, these reservation dates, Mother's Day, Father's Day, my dad's birthday, mom's birthday, these days when I'm feeling this emotion, it's like, don't get me wrong, I don't want to at times, right? I'm like, fuck, man, I don't want to feel like this. This sucks. But at the same
Yeah.
time, it's every little mountain that I've come, everything that gets put on my plate that I eat, I get stronger for the next one to where hopefully one day I'm free of this. I'm free of the
Yeah.
grief. I'm free of the misery,
The more you say no, dude, the more you say no, especially in big situations, you get stronger. I really do truly believe that. You get stronger, dude. And you just keep going, you know? It's hard to say no. And especially like when you mentioned your ex-girlfriend doing that shit, like that's so fucked up, man, that she would even do something like that. She would bring alcohol when you know you're struggling like that. Um and again too, like I tried to tell my dad this too, like it is a choice most of the time, you know, where you're feeling down, you're lonely or bored or whatever, and you do choose to do something to make you feel better. But they don't understand because they've never been through it. The
yep, they don't know.
Yeah, like do you think me overdosing over 10 times and almost kill myself, do you think I want to do that? You
Yeah,
know what I
no, it's like,
mean?
no, we don't want that, brother. It's just that our minds, we are so used to using these methods to escape hurt that that's where your mind goes subconsciously. instantly, just like
It's
that. It's
so
just
true, dude.
like within an instant, it's like your mind goes, okay, what's your defense mechanism to not feel this way? Make yourself numb. How do we make ourselves numb? We get fucked up. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like trying to unlearn that pattern. It is rather difficult,
Oh my
but it's
God,
like
it's so
if you
difficult,
stay
man.
persistent and
It's
you
so
just
difficult.
constantly just remember why you're doing this. It's like, it's a lot of times say do it for yourself, right? Us as addicts, we're selfish motherfuckers, man. Like look what we do to ourselves, right?
I
So
know.
it's like in my case, it's like, yeah, do it for myself. But now I've realized my fight's a lot stronger because I'm doing it for my child. It's like I don't
Yeah,
want her to grieve. I don't want her to see this. I'm trying to break this cycle for her because, if I say, oh, it's all about me, I'm a selfish motherfucker. The first time I have a bad day, that can all flip. It
right.
could all go away.
That's so
And
true,
I've kind of
dude.
like thought too deeply, it's like us as addicts, if we can build a tolerance for the substances that we use, we could also build a tolerance for the emotion that we feel that drive us to use those substances,
Oh my
you know?
God. Yes, that was a fucking great line right there. Because it's so fucking true, you know? And we gotta learn different pathways, you know, like different like thinking like different pathways of when you're going through all those emotions instead of turning to, you know, whatever drug or what, you know, whatever drink, like do something else. And it's hard because you already know the path of drinking and drugging, you're gonna feel good and it's gonna get rid of everything. But it's really a fucking shitty
Yeah.
choice because you're gonna fucking just it's just you just can't do it. You're gonna end
Well,
up
it's like too,
fucking
like Nick too, like I was thinking deeply too about it too. It's like everybody, we all have a spark in us, brother. We all have the spark to be better. It's just what
oh,
does it take to ignite that fire, right? How deep do you got to dig to find that spark? Everybody's varies differently. Mine was that close encounter with death. Some people it might take a little longer, but I have a firm belief that each and every one of us that do want to try to be better and that thrive to be better, we dig for that spark. And one day, I hope, my personal hope is that we all find that spark,
we will,
because
dude. I mean, I know I really do have very good confidence in you to fucking definitely do it, man. Like, dude, you're the one dude I really do still keep in contact with. I keep in contact with a couple guys we went to Gateway with, and I do keep in contact with a lot of guys I went to rehabs with. But you know, you're the one of the main ones, dude. Like, think about it. Jeff passed away. I know so many kids who have passed away. Jeff,
yeah, Jeff, the
fucking
Jeff thing rocked
Logan.
me, man.
Like
That was a tough one.
three people we went to fucking rehab with passed away, man. You know what I mean? It's so fucked up.
Yeah, it is fucked up, man, and it's scary. Like with Jeff too. It's like I was talking to his child's mother because he got was having a baby right before he passed away, and that was rather heartbreaking. Because I knew her in eighth grade, which was kind of a small world. So it's like we were kind of talking about that, and it's like the way he went was not good, man. It was not good, and like I remember when I seen that, it rocked the fuck out of me. I just sat there in my room looking out the window, guzzling a fucking fifth of vodka. I'm like, all right, when's it gonna be my fucking turn? When's it gonna be my fucking turn?
Man,
Like
that's sad, dude.
it was
That's
very,
horrible,
very, very
man.
soul rocking, for that because I'm like, fuck it, and it's sad. It's so sad, but it's also like,
He was such a
oh,
good dude too, you know?
he was a
Like, and
beautiful
you guys
person.
were boys. You guys were like super close, dude.
Yeah, we were really close, and we stayed close even after treatment, and for I think I talked to him about 2 months before he OD'd, and it's like I could tell he really wasn't doing the greatest, and that was kind of the heartbreaking part about it. Then
Oh,
he got caught doing some stuff, and he got in legal trouble again, and it's just
oh
that
no.
like his girlfriend told me he was in the bathroom and he was using the substances, and he fucking passed out and went brain dead, and she found him like 10 minutes later and he was gone. And I'm like, fuck, like that
Sad.
really ripped a hole in me. That
Oh,
really fucked me up.
oh, dude. I know
You
so
know,
many
it
people and so
it, it
and
got
really
it, it
good
got me
friends
got
too.
me hard. So it's like at times I was, I would communicate, I still on and off communicate with her because, and it's not like in a weird way, it's because Jeff was my
Samantha?
boy, huh?
Yeah, Sam, is that her name? Sam?
No, her name's Bethany.
Oh, okay.
He had left that Sam girl for another girl. And so it's like I communicate with her, and check up on her because she's in recovery too.
Yeah,
The passing of Jeff kind of got her on the path of straightening up. So I feel like, to, honor my friend, I try to, hey, how you doing? I hope you're okay.
absolutely.
And then we
Absolutely,
talk
dude.
about Jeff sometimes.
Yeah. dude, that was, dude, you and Jeff and me were really tight in Gateway, dude. You gotta send me that picture we took, man, of me, you, and
Oh
him.
yeah, I will, brother. I definitely will.
Yeah. Well, yeah, dude, it's so. I just say a prayer for all the people who passed and all the kids who passed and to this wretched fucking disease of addiction, man, because it is fucking brutal, man. And the statistics are not on our side, you know. It's a brutal, harsh reality, you know, that this world is can be very evil and dangerous sometimes, dude, and all the shit they're putting in the drugs too, all this fentanyl shit is just people are dropping like flies. You know, it's like the number one epidemic, the number one killing uh people from age 18 to 50 is the number one leading death is fentanyl.
Yeah,
It's just killing people left and right, dude.
it kills people, man. And it's like, it's like when you have these addictions, right? It's like, people think that, oh, like you're feeding your high. No, you're at some point you start running from pain because you know that you can't escape this. You feel like you can't get out. You know you're letting people down. You know you're letting yourself down. You know you're hurting the people you love. And that pain alone drives that fucking addiction further. And I've realized that. It's like
Yeah,
with me, brother, like, sad reality with me is I came to the conclusion that if I slip back down that path, I might not be here to tell another story because I cannot look my child in the face one more time and go, hey, guess what? This is what I did.
dude.
I couldn't, I
Yeah,
couldn't, I can't, I couldn't live myself one more time to know that I let her down that way. And the people that care about me and love me, it's like, that disappointment. It's like at that point, it would be unbearable to live with, you know.
absolutely, dude. Well, you got 4 months, man. That's a really, really good accomplishment, man, you know? Like I got around 2 months, and we're fighting, dude. We're fighting. We've honestly 90% of the people I know in recovery have all slipped and fell, and most of them got back up. And you just got to keep fighting. You always got to keep
Oh
fighting.
yeah, always
You
get
got to
back
keep
up, and that's
fighting.
like I had a buddy in the Oxford house. He relapsed, and he messaged me about it, and I told him, brother, it's not how many times you get knocked back down in this case. It's how many times can you get back up. How many
Yeah,
times can you get the fuck back up and go, hey, look, you know what? I can pump the brakes right now. I don't got to continue this. I can stop right fucking now. I don't, I know it's difficult to do, but I can dust myself the fuck off, patch up my wounds and I can get right back on it. You know, I don't have to stay
100%.
derailed. And that's what I feel like a lot of us don't understand is that it's like when we have that slip up that first time, it's like a green light. Well, I already hurt everybody. I already hurt myself. I might as well just keep going. No, you
Yeah,
can
you
brush
just
yourself off and
you
try
say
again,
fuck
show
it.
resiliency,
You say fuck it.
and that's the deep part. But hey, Nick, brother, I gotta get off here. I gotta feed start my
Yeah,
daughter's dinner,
man.
brother.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, what's his name took the charger. I'm on like five, but dude, I'm so happy you came on, dude, because I'm gonna get this podcast rolling again. And dude, when I thought of guests who'd have on, you were one of the first thoughts, dude. I love
Thanks,
talking to you,
brother.
bro. You're a good friend, and I'm always in your corner, and we gotta just keep fucking fighting this shit, man. Keep fighting, never give up, dude.
Yep, keep fighting, and I hope everybody